So I've listened to Habib interview with Joy News, where he said...
Habib the whip.
Yeah, the chief whip, MP for Chalong.
Yes.
Yes, how they try to, 22 items are very, very urgent. I think among them is the fact that we might not be able to pay government employees in the new year, which is quite unfortunate.
Why can't we pay government in the year?
So it's like they need to consider.
You are talking about salaries
yes,
that was due end of January.
Yes.
Yes, but after the elections, how long does it? Even the 1 year budget, we can pass it in 4 hours, or it's passed in 4 hours.
The trouble is
so a 3 month. We all know that budget is a 3. I don't want anybody to create the impression that between when the elections are declared till Parliament ends.
Yes.
We cannot approve that 3 month budget.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know what goes in. After the approval, I don't know what goes into the process of actually
nothing.
payment.
They should stop that.
But I would assume what they are saying is actually an urgent business.
They are just trying to play on people's emotional keyboards. You are talking about January salaries. But when elections are done, Parliament is still in session until the midnight of the 6th of January. So that approval, they can make that approval on any day. It's not.
But Randy, from now to election day, do you think the government would act in vain? If there was no need to consider this.
No, you don't get the point I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm not in a position.
More or less, they are
I'm saying that I'm not in a position to determine what is urgent or not for government.
For government,
I'm not in a position. But however, when I analyze it, when people use that issue of public service salary, my point is that these are salaries from January to March. And I am saying that between when the elections end till Parliament ends on the midnight of 6th of January, that particular 3 month budget can be passed. I do not see how the inability of Parliament to sit before 7th of December will be injurious to any public sector person getting a salary in January. That's just the point I'm making. I am not saying that I am in a position to determine what is.
That's fine. But what I want to say is that I do not believe the government is acting in vain. There's an urgent issue to be attended to. That's why they are doing it. Because if they recall Parliament, the Speaker said, and the NDC said it will affect the campaign activities of members. But I don't believe it's not only going to affect campaign activities of only the NDC. The MPP would equally be affected. So in this particular instance, nobody would have any advantage at all. I don't believe it gives enough publicity to MPP members when they're in Parliament. So they will equally be affected. But I believe that if the government is saying that it is in the national interest to recall Parliament urgently for 2 days, even if the Speaker thinks the 22 item is too much, why doesn't the Speaker think maybe 10 or 5 items that the Speaker consider very necessary could have been? But what troubles me, even though this letter is written outside the rules, as he said, it is an appeal made, so of which the Speaker would have to use his discretion. But as we said, as a public officer, his discretion must not be unfettered. It has to be confined within a proper way of making a decision. But from the way the Speaker written it, 22 items like this, it's like the Speaker have not put his mind completely at the request.
What I read, all the Speaker is saying is that, and we all know that the Speaker is, we could say, the most experienced person when it comes to parliamentary business, as we speak today in the House. All he has said is that your request to summon members of Parliament at this time to a 2-day sitting to deliberate on 22 items you consider urgent or outstanding government business is worth noting that having regard to the practice and deliberations of the House. So this is what he says. Having regard to the practice and deliberations of the House, I wonder how the proposed 22 items could be transacted within the 2 days.
So have a chat with them.
No, I'm saying that this is what he's saying. And the truth of the matter is that my checks even shows that for some of these items, they even have to be laid. Some of the things there, they have to be laid. They have to be referred to committees. And all those things. And those who put the thing together know that very well.
Probably if they start now. So that shows why the government wants it to be done urgently. So that means that they could have
Speaker is saying that if indeed you know parliamentary processes and deliberations, what you need to do is to have a scale of preference. Prioritize it.
Prioritize
and don't come and do 22 items when you know very well that within those 2 days we will not be able to do them.
But why doesn't the speaker get in touch with this in the government?
But they wrote to him and he has written to them.
No, but this look, there are other transactions that could have done behind the scenes.
No, but Ishaq, they wrote a letter to him. They made it public. He has also responded, and it is public.
But what is I understood you, but give me opportunity to express this opinion.
Please go on.
I believe that this Speaker of Parliament, in the beginning, when the Parliament started and we couldn't get our preferred person, I thought that this Speaker would probably act in the national interest.
He hasn't.
In the beginning, he did. But towards the end, it's like something seemed to have influenced the Speaker. Even look at the way it is addressed. Leader of government business. Why that particular address? The substantive issue have already settled by the court. So we know that Bagin is a majority leader. Why does he have to address it this way? It's again, as we're talking about reading political meaning to things, it makes me read political meaning to what the Speaker is doing. Look, this crisis that we had was a manufactured crisis. The crisis was manufactured by the NDC, and it's safe for me to say that the Speaker was in bed with the NDC all along. He did not take nationalistic approach to it, and I believe it saddens me, especially in the light of what Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said, that a black man were capable of managing their own affairs. The Speaker has failed me on that regard. If you compare it to a very recent part of Britain, when the conservative and liberals managed to work together in Parliament when nobody had a majority. I mean, if you look at the policies of the NDC,
the same Speaker who got your e-levy for you.
Look,
against the position
as I said, in the beginning, he was acting the national interest.
So now was national interest.
I believe he's probably thinking about his job. And possibly he thought that NDC might win the next election and let me please them just in case I may get a job in the next parliament. Which would be very, very, very sad. This is the reason why I want to personally appeal to Ghanaians. That look, hung parliament perhaps is not good for Ghana. Because here we are having a speaker who needs to act in the national interest from the beginning to the end. And towards the end, he has abandoned the national interest in favor of one particular party, the NDC party. And 7 December, I think Ghanaians will need to make sure that the Speaker will not have a job going forward. He's not the right person to be a Speaker in Ghana anymore. The Speaker needs to be impartial throughout his term. He should pay fidelity to the Constitution. I believe he hasn't. And
what in this letter is unconstitutional or does not pay fidelity to the Constitution?
I am saying the totality of his action from this manufactured crisis to this particular letter. The fact that he even addressed the finger market leader of government business.
Is he not?
No, he is, factually. But the right address is a majority leader by convention. If you look at other particular, I have seen other previous letters.
What's your name?
My name is Ishaq.
Ishaq what?
Ibrahim.
So if I call you Ishaq,
yes.
Or if I call you Mr. Ibrahim,
yes.
Have I done anything wrong?
It depends on the circumstances. If you have always addressed me as Mr. Ibrahim, and one day you change it to be informal, addressing me as Ishaq, I can read meaning to it.
I hope your students are watching me. Ishaq, I hope your students are watching me.
Yes, my students.
Don't listen, students, don't listen to what you say. Read the textbook.
Actually, my students actually enjoy me. Actually, all African students union actually chose me last year as the best lecturer.
Oh wow!
So my students actually enjoy my teaching.